With so many personal locator beacons and satellite messengers on the market, how can you know which one is the best? To be honest, I don't think there is one right choice for everyone. I think you need to decide what your priorities are and pick the device that fits those needs the best. Today, I'll share with you what my priorities were and why they led me to the Garmin InReach Mini after months of research. In my research, I narrowed it down to 4 devices that were worth considering for my needs. The Garmin InReach Mini, the Garmin InReach Explorer Plus, the Zoleo satellite communicator, and Spot X. I know there are a few other options out there like the Bivystick and the Somewear, but those didn't really come close to fitting my needs, so I didn't consider them in my research. I'll walk you through my 5 main priorities and how each of the 4 devices I listed before measure up. If you're curious about a particular feature, check out the timestamps in the description and feel free to skip ahead. All right, let's jump into the 5 main priorities. Priority number 1, communicating with loved ones. My first main priority was having the ability to communicate with my family to let them know where I was and how I was doing. I also didn't want to have to pay every time I sent one of these messages. I want the ability to let my family know I'm okay or not okay as often as I need, so I don't ration these messages and leave them anxious waiting for an update. The Garmin InReach Mini allows you to have 3 customized preset messages, which you can choose to include your location or not, and all of their plans, even the cheapest one, allow you to send an unlimited amount of these preset messages. You can also change these messages whenever you want to say whatever you want, so you're not stuck with just an I'm okay or things aren't good. You can change them to say whatever you need from trip to trip. And it's important that even the cheapest plan has those unlimited preset messages. We'll talk more about the different plans in a minute. As far as the InReach Explorer Plus, that has the same features since it's another Garmin device. So let's talk about the Zoleo. The Zoleo does allow for unlimited I'm okay check-in messages.
Hey guys, I have to interject a quick correction here because I found out as I was putting this video together that the Zoleo actually charges you a text message for every check-in message. If there's Zoleo users out there that can tell me otherwise, let me know, but as you can see in the screenshot here, it looks like you use a text message every time you send a check-in message, and the lowest plan does not come with very many text messages, so I could see myself running out of those check-in messages pretty quickly on the lowest plan.
But as far as I could tell in my research, it's just a single predefined message. You can't customize it at all. So I was much more comfortable with 3 customizable preset messages in the Garmin plans. Let's talk about the Spot X. The Spot X, like the other devices, does allow for unlimited preset messages, but it actually allows you to customize up to 14 preset messages, 4 times as many as the Garmin plans. So that's a lot of flexibility with unlimited messaging for those preset messages. A really nice feature. I should also mention here that each of the devices allows you to send custom text messages, but each of them allows for different numbers of these custom messages depending on the plan you're in, and I'm not planning to use custom text messages very often. I'm much more interested in having flexibility in the type and number of preset messages that I can send. For priority number 1, the Spot X comes out the winner with 14 potential customizable preset messages and unlimited messaging. The Garmin devices come in second with 3 potential customizable preset messages. That's probably sufficient for my needs. And the Zoleo comes in dead last with just 1 preset message that's unlimited. Priority number 2, reliability. My next priority, and just barely second to the first of communicating with loved ones, is reliability. Buying one of these devices doesn't do you much good if it won't send a message when you need it to. Now, I'm definitely not a satellite expert, but based on what I read, you really want your personal locator beacon or satellite messenger to be on the Iridium network. It sounds like it's the most reliable and has true global coverage. So I wanted the device that I purchased to be on the Iridium network. Both of the Garmin devices, as well as the Zoleo, are on the Iridium satellite network, whereas the Spot X device uses the Globestar network. Now, I'm not knocking on the Globestar network. Again, this is just based on my research. I felt like I wanted a device on the Iridium satellite network. So on this priority, the Garmin's and the Zoleo come in equal since they're both on the same satellite network, and the Spot X comes in last. I'm not saying the Spot X doesn't work. I know there's a lot of people out there that really like their Spot X. I'm just saying for me, I wanted a device on the Iridium network. So the Garmin's and the Zoleo are the way to go for this priority. Priority number 3, standalone unit. I wanted whatever personal locator beacon or satellite messenger I purchased to be able to function fully on its own. While I do always take my cell phone and a large power bank, I don't want to have to connect my phone to the satellite messenger for full functionality. This is big for my peace of mind because I know that as long as I keep this one device running, I can get a hold of loved ones and communicate with emergency services. How do these 4 devices measure up to this priority? Both of the Garmin units are full standalone satellite messengers and personal locator beacons. You can connect your phone to them via Bluetooth to make messaging and other functionality easier, but you don't need to connect them to access any particular functionality. That's a big win for the Garmin devices. The Zoleo, unfortunately, is not a standalone unit. While you can access some functionality on the device like sending a check-in message or sending an SOS, you have to connect your phone via Bluetooth to send other messages or even access other functionality. This might be what you're looking for because sometimes using the functionality on your phone is easier than the way the device operates on its own, but that's not what I wanted. The Spot X, similar to the Garmin's, is also a fully standalone unit with additional functionality if you connect your phone to it. The Garmin devices and the Spot X definitely have the edge on this priority since they are full standalone units. The Zoleo does not pass this priority since it is not a fully standalone unit. I will mention that one area where the Spot X might even have the edge on the Garmin's is that the device includes a full QWERTY keyboard, making it a lot easier to send custom text messages. After using this device, I can see why sending a custom message could be a little bit of a pain if you don't connect your phone to it. However, since I never plan on sending custom text messages, there may be a time the need arises. This really wasn't a big issue for me. Now that we've touched on my first 3 main priorities, let's do a quick recap on where we stand. Communicating with loved ones, I would rate the Garmin's well in this category, the Zoleo lower than the Garmin since it only has 1 preset message, and the Spot X just a little higher since it has those 14 customizable preset messages. For reliability, the Garmin's and the Zoleo pass since they're on the Iridium satellite network, which is what I'm looking for, and the Spot X does not pass since it's on the Globestar network. And a standalone unit, the Garmin's pass this as well, and the Spot X and the Zoleo does not pass since it is not a fully standalone unit. You can probably see where this is going to a Garmin showdown, but the Spot X and the Zoleo have some other features that I like, so I wasn't throwing them out yet. Let's keep going. Priority number 4. Weight. Not wait to hear what it is, but weight. It's a weight joke. Because I also plan on using this device for trail running, weight is important to me. And although I don't count my grams and ounces as close as some backpackers, I do know that every gram and ounce makes a difference. So weight is a high priority on my list. The weight of the device, that is. I like donuts too much for weight to be an actual priority. Anyway, in the weight category, the Garmin InReach Mini comes in the clear winner at about 100 grams. Really light. Both the Garmin InReach Explorer Plus and the Spot X come in at double that at about 200 grams, and the Zoleo is right between the two at 150 grams. Priority number 5. Battery life. Now, saving in the weight category doesn't mean anything if you sacrifice too much in the way of battery life. I need to know that my satellite messenger and personal locator beacon will have plenty of juice to last through my adventures. Now, this is a tough one to compare without actually using all 4 of the devices because the numbers on the website assume certain scenarios and optimized conditions, but for comparison's sake, I'm going to list them here on screen. You can see that the Garmin InReach Mini boasts 90 hours of battery life at 10-minute tracking intervals, or 24 days in battery saving mode. The InReach Explorer Plus comes in at 100 hours of battery life at 10-minute tracking, or 30 days in power saving mode. I was surprised at the lack of difference between the InReach Mini and the InReach Explorer Plus given double the weight. Zoleo's website says that their device will last for 200 hours or about 8 days. It doesn't give any indication of what the settings would be on the device, but that's what they say, 200 hours. And finally, the website for the Spot X indicates 240 hours of battery life or 10 days. Now, again, these are hard to compare without actually using all 4 of the devices, but if we were to compare the numbers on the screen, we can see that the Spot X says that it has the best battery life if you're using the tracking on the Garmin. I don't plan to use regular tracking on the Garmin because I always use my watch to track my hikes. So for me, the power saving mode is a better reference. The bottom line is any of these devices should have sufficient juice for any of my adventures, and I always take a large power bank with me to give them an additional charge when I need to. Those are my 5 main criteria in deciding which device would work best for me. Based on those 5 criteria, I would rank them as follows. Number 1, the Garmin InReach Mini. Number 2, the Garmin InReach Explorer Plus, and tied for 3rd is the Zoleo and the Spot X. But another big thing for me to consider, because I'm cheap, is the cost of the device. As far as initial cost, the Garmin InReach Mini is listed on Amazon for $300. The Garmin InReach Explorer Plus is listed at $450. The Zoleo, $200, and the Spot X at $240. Before we decide, the other cost to be aware of is the monthly charges. For any of these devices, you will have to subscribe to a plan to make sure that you have access to the respective satellite network. You can't just buy this device and expect it to work in the backcountry. There are monthly fees associated with using it. Now, each of the devices has a different range of plans that you can choose from, but just for sake of comparison, we'll look at the lowest monthly cost for the cheapest plan option. You can see that the Garmin's and the Spot X are $15 per month and the Zoleo is $20 per month. Not a big enough difference to really impact my buying decision. But one other thing to note here is that with the Zoleo, if you want to actually send your location to anybody, you have to pay an additional $6 per month for an enhanced plan. With the Garmin's, you can send your location for just 10 cents each time. Big difference there. Now, before I summarize why I chose the Garmin InReach Mini, let me tell you about a few additional features that may enter into your buying decision. First, weather. The ability to get a weather report in the backcountry could be a big deal and even potentially a lifesaver. Each of the devices has this capability. Each of them will cost you a text message when you request weather information. The Garmin does include the option for premium weather for $1. That just includes a forecast that goes further out rather than a 48-hour forecast. I don't anticipate requesting a weather report very often, so didn't enter into my buying decision. Next, tracking. As I mentioned already, tracking on my personal locator beacon isn't a big priority to me. I track all of my hikes with my watch, but this is a nice feature to have in case I want it. While each of these devices has this capability, again, for the Zoleo to use it, you have to pay that additional $6 per month for the enhanced plan. Third, using cell or Wi-Fi signals to send your messages. This is a really cool feature that the Zoleo has that I really wish Garmin would get on board with. The Zoleo will actually search for Wi-Fi and cell signals before it sends your message through the satellite network. And if you're able to send it through one of those other means, it doesn't take one of the text messages from your plan and doesn't charge you. That is a really cool feature. Garmin, pull it together. So where does that leave me? As I'm sure you've already guessed, and if you hadn't, you could tell by the title of the video anyway, the Garmin InReach Mini was my choice. Let me tell you why. While I like the initial cost of the Zoleo, the monthly plans are a little more expensive, especially with the additional $6 per month for location services, and I don't like that I need my phone to access the full functionality. I also like the initial cost of the Spot X, but I'd really prefer for my device to be on the Iridium network, as I've already said. So that leaves me with choosing between the Garmin's. This was an easy choice. Weight, the InReach is half the weight, and cost, the Mini is $150 cheaper than the InReach Explorer Plus. Does the Explorer Plus have additional features? Sure, but nothing that mattered enough to me to make it worth paying the additional $150 and carrying double the weight around on all my adventures. My purchase decision was clear. The Garmin InReach Mini was definitely the winner for me based on my priorities. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, give me a like below. But more importantly, I hope that in sharing what my priorities were, it helped you narrow down what your priorities might be and which device might work best for you. Whatever you decide, I'd love to know what it is. Let me know in the comments what you decided to get and why. Remember, life is better with some dirt in it. Ding! I do that last part.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put it in.
Say whatever you want. All right, go ahead.
It's already going.
Perfect.
That's cool.
Flies down. Got it. Awkward. This is hard. I need to know so.